All right, now we're into the fun stuff, the buyer consult. You have taken that warm or cold lead, you have converted it to a buyer consult appointment, or maybe they're just ready to roll right in the buyer consult right off the bat. You have two options here, okay? I have two scripts that are going to be right below in the video notes. They are LP Mama and then our ISA checklist. You can use both. Feel free to experiment, see which one you like the best, maybe meld them together and make your own. But first, I'll talk about LP Mama. This is probably the most famous script for taking a buyer through their initial consult. It stands for location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and then setting an appointment. All right, LP Mama. Let's dive a little deeper. The first things first we're going to talk about is location. Where does this person want to move? All right. You should absolutely, in advance of this phone call, have created this person a profile in your CRM. Please use your CRM. So I'm going to say John Doe. I've already put their phone number and their email address in here. Now I'm taking notes. We do this all in Follow Up Boss personally for the Bassinelli team. Whatever CRM you use, you need to be taking notes the whole dang time. So I always have AirPods in or some sort of listening device so I can type the whole time. So I'm finding out their location. Then I'm finding out their budget, their ballpark budget. A lot of times I have to dive deep because sometimes people have no idea what they can afford, all right? So here's where I start talking about, hey, do you have an idea on overall or monthly budget, all right? Monthly budget is a lot easier for people to make a decision on because maybe they're like, oh, I'm spending $2,200 a month right now on a rental or my current mortgage is $2,200. We're comfortable up to $4K. At which point in time I roll right into the next thing. I'm going to go out of order here. I go LPM and the M is for mortgage. Then I say, great, have you already connected to a mortgage banker or broker for a pre-approval or do you plan to pay cash? Now, they're going to tell me. If they say cash, I say, whoop, whoop, wonderful. We're going to have a much easier time of this purchase. If not, if they've already got pre-approved, then I am very intentional. I say, hey, are you committed to that mortgage banker or broker? Or can I connect you to my preferred person? You know, she's a broker. She's incredible. We've done 50 plus deals with her, or however many it is, 25 plus deals. If that's not beneficial, just say, you know, I love working with Anna. She's a broker, so she can shop it out, you know, to a bunch of places and try and secure you the best rate and terms. They'll usually say yes, because who doesn't want the best deal possible? I say, okay, cool, I'm gonna get you connected to Anna. She's gonna help us figure out our budget. Just give her a call as soon as you can, you know, and I set some expectations like, you know, she's gonna ask about your income, credit, and assets. She's gonna tell you what you're pre-approved for. Then what you need to do is ask Anna, say, okay, maybe I'm pre-approved up to $750, but I only want to spend $4,000 per month. So talk to Anna about the budget because she's going to be handling all things finance in this transaction, okay? So I have location, price, and mortgage done, all right? Next thing I'm doing is I'm going to find out their motivation, like, hey, what's prompting you to call me to make a purchase, right? This is usually kind of a big decision. What's making you want to move? A lot of times it's not enough space, we're having a kid, I'm getting married, I'm getting divorced, you know, I can't stand my small yard. I need an office. I can't work in the basement anymore. I'm getting relocated for work. So just find out their motivation. This is wildly important. You need to know what's motivating them because you're going to have to remind them of that motivation many times if your transaction gets a little spicy or your search gets a little spicy, okay? Just remind them why they called you in the first place because that is their why, all right? And that's what's motivating them to keep moving forward. So we have location, price, mortgage, motivation, agent. I'm going to say, hey, have you already spoken to any other agents? And they're going to say yes or no. If they say yes, I'm going to say, oh, what prompted you to call me? And they're going to say, I don't know, I just saw really great things online. And just keep diving deep there if they have talked to another agent. You can ask them if they've signed an exclusive buyer agency. If they have, obviously, they need to sever that relationship with the prior agent before they can work with you. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and set an appointment. I'm going to say, okay, now that I have all this information, are there any homes you want to see right away? And they're going to say yes or no. If yes, I say, cool, call Anna right away, get that pre-approval rolling. As soon as I get that pre-approval from Anna, I'm going to set that appointment. We'll go check it out right away, as long as you're pre-approved for that amount. I'm going to say, okay, cool, sounds good, all right? So that's script number one. Let's talk about script number two, which is the ISA checklist. We're covering a lot of the same information, but there's a few extra questions. We're kind of pre-screening a little more. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them, basically, are all the decision makers present, right? Like, are you the one purchasing? Is there a husband or a wife that we need to be on the phone with us? I would have done this beforehand in advance, trying to get all decision makers on the phone. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them if the house or condo we're shopping for is a primary, or if it's going to be an investment property, right? Those are two very different processes. If it's a primary, this is probably going to be much more of an emotional decision, which is based on their family's wants and needs. If it's an investment property that they're looking to purchase, this is going to be much more of a math problem, less emotional, in some ways much simpler. All right, so you need to find out whether it's a primary or an investment. I would have found that out in motivation on LP Mama, just to say, but let's get back in the ISA checklist. I'm going to ask their timeline to purchase. Wildly important to figure out, their timeline. Is this something that they need to do within the next month, or are they just casually looking and need to move over the next year? Location and price point, motivation. I need to find out, again, their mortgage, if they're using a mortgage banker or broker, if they're pre-approved already, or if they're utilizing cash. I always want to ask if they are currently renting or owning. If they're owning, I'm going to ask, hey, will I have the opportunity to sell that home too? And if they do own a home, I'm going to ask them, do you need to sell that home in order to capture the cash from the equity in order to make the purchase? And that's pretty much it, okay? So the general gist of LP Mama and ISA checklist is exactly the same. The flow is just a little different. Once I've completed that initial part of this buyer consult, then I'm going to thank them for, spending the time, helping me learn more about their situation so I can be of maximum service, right? That was a lot of information for me. I'm 6.5 minutes in this video, but I want to talk to you about part 2 of the buyer consult, right? That first part can be very short, 5 minutes, or very long, it might be 30. It really just depends on how much that person wants to talk. I want to establish an expectation with you, the agent or broker who's going through this course, is our real goal is to ask intentional and intelligent questions and then listen, okay? We need to actively listen to this person so that we can find out really what's motivating them, making them tick, making them make this decision, so that we can truly be of service, okay? If you're not actively listening and asking good questions, the process of finding and helping them purchase a home is going to be so much more difficult because you don't actually know what is prompting them to make this move, okay? So your boats aren't moving in the same direction. You're not aligned on what the end goal is here, and that is of the utmost importance, okay? Once I've done LP Mama or the ISA checklist, I say, hey, cool, we've handled that part. I'm so excited. I think that your budget is accurate or realistic for the things you want and need, or hey, I think we're going to need to tweak this. Maybe instead of going to Ann Arbor, we got to go to Superior Township or something like that, right? Be an Alex broker here, get them off on the right track. And then I say, do you have like 3 to 5 more minutes here so I can explain the home buying process to you? And they'll always say yes, almost always. Or if they start to say, I've bought a few in the past, I say, even if you have, I find it's really helpful for me to just breeze through it really quick so I can establish clear expectations. And so you know what to expect the whole way through, right? Like I do this every day, but I know my clients don't. And I just want to make sure we know where we're going before we start cruising, all right? They say yes. I say, cool. First things first, your immediate piece of homework, if you're not paying cash, is to call the preferred mortgage banker or broker, or if they're already pre-approved, great. The first piece of homework is you need that pre-approval. Once that pre-approval is in to me, then we can start doing showings. At the same time, I'm going to be setting up a search for you, okay? I'm going to take all your needs, wants in a house. I'm going to set up a search. And so this will save you a ton of time. You're not going to have to actively spend time on Zillow, Realtor.com, Movado, whatever search engine you're using anymore. I'm going to set up a search so that any home that fits your criteria is automatically emailed to you on a daily basis, all right? I want you to know that I'm also going to be scanning for these houses every day, and I'm going to personally send you the ones I like. I just want you to know I'm going to be actively involved in that, okay? Whenever you see a home that you love or a couple that you love, send them over to me. Please send the direct link or the full address, and then I will do some pre-search, and I'll get showings scheduled. When we go on showings and we find one we love, we're going to write an offer. I'm going to have you fully engaged in that. I'm going to present to you what I have as a suggested offer. And of course you can make tweaks. You're the one purchasing it. So I'm just going to guide you along on the way. When you're ready to turn that offer in, I'm going to send it to you for your digital signature. We'll turn it in. If it's accepted, great. We're going to roll right into the inspection period. If you don't have an inspector, I do. We're going to go through that. There's 3 potential outcomes on an inspection. It's great, we move forward. It's mediocre and we try and renegotiate, repairs or a price reduction, or it's terrible and we walk away, all right? So that's the inspection period. If we make it through that, If we're utilizing a bank, the bank's going to come out. They're going to do an appraisal. Their job is to confirm value. All right, so appraisals very frequently come in exactly at purchase price. The appraiser's job is to confirm the value based on local comps, which have sold within the last year. If we make it through the inspection and the appraisal, we close it up. All right, if you're approved for conventional, typical close timeline is 30 days from start to finish, from offer accepted to closing. If you're FHA or VA, typical closing window is 45 days from offer accepted to closing. Now, we can do it faster, we can drag it out and do it a little slower, but those are just average timelines. Do you have any questions? They're going to say no, usually. Probably a lot of information for them. That's it. If they have any questions, answer them. If they don't have any additional questions, to say, hey, Jane, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We covered a ton of ground. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you Anna's contact information right now. I'm going to get you two connected in a group text or a group email. Please give her a call right away so we can get that pre-approval moving. I'm going to set up that search. I'm going to get those cruising out to you right away. And as soon as I see ones I like, I'm also going to personally send those, okay? Do you have any questions? No? Sounds great. I am so excited to help you on your way. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Wrap it up. That's it.